In front of the TV Saturday afternoon. It's a really nice day. You sit down to watch your favorite college football team. Okay? You sit there and you're watching them play. And in the course of time, over the whole season, the NCAA makes $31.9 million over the entire season of football. That includes merchandising, that includes TV stuff, that includes all the fans, all that stuff. I count the number, $31.9 million. Athletes today see $0.00 of that revenue. So why should you care? I think you should care because maybe you're going to have a son or a daughter who goes to Division I and plays football, or that kid that grew up in a really rough neighborhood and is trying to get his family out but can't do that because they only are allowed to have a scholarship. So in this presentation, I'll be just doing three things. I'll be showing you what the problem is, what the causes are, and what excuses the NCAA uses to say that they don't need to pay college athletes, and then also your solution. So, to start off, we're going to talk about the problem. So, a report done by Victoria Lee Blackstone, analysis reporting for Zacks Invest in quotes. College sports programs reached a historic high water mark during the 2016-27 academic year. The National Collegiate Athletic Association reported revenue more than $1 billion into its audited financial reports September 2016 through August 2017 sports season, including in total revenue were ticket sales, market rights, sports tournaments, and championship games. So this is 2016-2017. This is when we said we were at our peak before we hit 2020. But this was a really great year. Had a really great national championship for college basketball. Had a really great national championship for college football. So they made a ton of money. The problem with this is that those kids aren't seeing this money. I mean, $1 billion, and you can't give a kid that's giving you all this money at least a fraction of that. To me, I just don't think that's really fair. Then another article done by Elaine Povich, a journalist for the Huffington Post, says in an article that the NCAA regularly strictly prohibit reimbursement for any activity by any student athletes, including endorsements, appearances, and advertisements, beyond scholarships to retain their amateur status. So this is just pretty much the direct ruling from the NCAA. And see, if you see in this, it says, for any exhibit, including endorsements, appearances, or advertisements. That means they can't get any money. Not only are they not getting any money from the university or the NCAA, they can't get money for just having their name on the back of a jersey, or going in a Gatorade commercial, or getting any other types of advertisements. They can't get any money from it. So most of those guys you don't see in commercials because they're not allowed to. So the problem is demonstrated that they're not getting paid at all. Now here's some of the causes that I found. So in an article done by Kate Jennings Analysis for Bleacher Report reports that an average of non-student undergrad tuition based on these four fine universities would be $29,671. And then so to put a roof over the student's head and some food in his belly, the four school average, or examples, are $9,067. So the four schools they were saying were Texas, USC, Baylor, and Colorado. And so an average for a university, you have to pay $29,671 to go play there from out of state. Okay, and then also for them to be able to be paid and have housing, it's roughly 10 grand. So 30,000, 10,000, roughly $40,000 for a deep Division I, really high recruit. So if you go back to the problem and see that they made over $1 billion in their revenue, but they can only give them roughly $40,000 for really making them $1 billion. It kind of sounds like oppression to me. So that's why I also think that scholarships aren't enough for these athletes, because Devon Green, a sports editor of the Western Courier, explains that athletes don't always come from the best situation, and another glaring reason to pay athletes is the fact that they need the money. In a comprehensive 2013 study by the National College Players Association, they found that 86% of college athletes live below the poverty line. 86%. That's more than 3/4 of the athletes that are making this $1 billion, that their families can't even get above the poverty line. And so they say that this scholarship is enough, but they're trying to help their families get out of the poverty line. And that's like that's way more important than just a football game. So these athletes are trying to better themselves by being able to be paid and be able to help their families out, and just by using a scholarship, that's just not going to work. So you've seen the problems, you've seen the causes. Now I found a simple solution. Devon Green again quotes that it would be tough to pay all the athletes the same, but to pay athletes on an adjustable rate The school can look to the profit brought in by each sport and pay each player whatever amount they see fit while making money for themselves. So it's pretty much just like how it is in professional sports. Professional sports, you got a big-time baseball player making $100 million, and you have a WNBA player making like $10,000. It's just based on how much revenue your sport brings in currently. And there's a lot of rules that say, like, there's a rule called the Title IX Act where everybody has to be, if they're going to be paid, everybody has to be paid the same. However, there's another rule that's implemented, like when you pay people now, that they can do it on an adjustable rate. So the female rowing person isn't going to get the same as a Division I basketball player. So the simple solution that I've found is that we can pay for these guys on an adjustable rate, and the university's still going to have plenty of money to be able to do whatever they need to do with it. So in conclusion, that the NCAA has kind of been oppressing these young athletes, that they can't be able to afford the certain things. They may be given the bare necessities, but they're not doing anything else with that money. And they're literally doing two-a-days on work. They have work a lot of times. They do 2 days in practice, and they do schoolwork as well. They're full-time athletes, student athletes, and not being able to be paid for any of that is terrible. And so just next time when you go and watch a football game, you watch your favorite team, picture it being your son or daughter being in a dorm room where they can't afford to even sometimes feed themselves.